Well, this is John Black, Super Chemist.
Part 2. He took all my, he stole just enough stuff to leave me with the same charges, whoever it was, right? So I still have the gun charge, which at that time was my second gun charge, so it was a felony. I still got the, all the, intent to distribute, transporting, whatever, because it was 1 gram over an ounce. I still got all, who does that? Who fucking steals all your shit and then doesn't let you go? You know what I mean? I could see that. I could see, but whatever. Some people are cops, some of the biggest dicks on the planet. So I need to know what's going on here, okay? Because the prelim, I think, is within usually 24 hours or 3 days or something like that. I think it's 3 days. Keep in mind, this isn't my first trip to the rodeo. I learned my lesson on the first trip. It was like 18, maybe 19, I was young. And I got arrested for 2 felonies. I did some federal stuff. Anyways, I got a free attorney, and he reduced one of the felonies down to a misdemeanor, so I only, instead of 2 felonies, I had a felony and a misdemeanor, and I did, I think, a year of probation. So for a free attorney, that was great for the average person or whatever. But, the more older I got, the more I learned about the law, and looking back at that, they had me in an orange jumpsuit, in cuffs, in the office area. The witness, they walked right by me while I was sitting there in cuffs and in an orange jumpsuit. They walked them right past me to the area where there was a lineup, and they put me in the lineup. Looking back at it, obviously they tainted that. It doesn't matter what that guy says now. It doesn't matter if he picks me out, and it doesn't matter, because they tainted the the lineup. They tainted it. Now he's got, in the back of his mind, he's seen me, even though the front of his mind didn't really pick it up. The back of his mind did. Now he sees me in the lineup. Now he's like, oh, that guy looks familiar. I've never seen him before, so he must be the guilty guy that I want to pick out of the lineup. So that taints it. I could have gotten that thrown out if I would have, not been young and dumb. So this time I know, I've got to take control. I'm obviously going to get a free attorney, but the point is that the free attorney works for me. He does what I say. If he doesn't do what I say, I fire him. That's the first thing I learned. If you don't like what your attorney does, fire him. So anyways, I've had attorneys where I've paid. I had this one attorney. I was like, well, I'm not paying you the rest of it until we get done with this trial, man. Because this is the first time I ever paid anyone in my life. So I actually paid him, and I was like, well, I can't get you the rest. We was already into the trial, you know what I mean? Once you start a trial, that's it. If you have 1 hour into it, into taking my case, you can't turn me down now. It doesn't matter if I pay you or not. You're stuck. You are forced by law to keep, me as your whatever. And he wasn't doing what I told him, so I says, well, look, or no, he was telling me that I can't represent you if you don't give me the rest of the money before the trial. Because I'm thinking, hey, if I go to jail, that means I don't have to pay you. You might even forget it by the time I get out, and he's thinking that too. He's thinking I'm not going to get paid, so he did the bluff. So I just told him, hey, well, okay, well, I'll just go to the judge and tell him, I need another attorney. I can't pay you, and, we're going to have a continuance. Bam, he changed. He says, no, I'll be your attorney. Don't worry about it. But anyways, they don't want to be fired. That looks bad. A judge does not want to hear from a plaintiff that he wants to fire his attorney because his attorney is not listening. Because by law, your attorney has to listen to what you say and do what you say, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it's illogical. He has to do it. So I don't want to go into this prelim and have whoever stole my shit. Maybe I could, I did look into the officer that arrested me. He was a highway patrol guy or state police, whatever you call them, in whatever state you're in. And he had a military record. He was in the Marines. He was a straight arrow. Nobody said anything about him doing anything crooked. He was. I couldn't find anything about him that was. He was a straight up guy. He was a dick, but he was a straight up guy. I thought there's no way that he could have done it. But I didn't want to go into the prelim and lock anyone into any testimony that they could not back out of. You know what I'm saying? That was my main concern and when I got my attorney, that was the main thing that I told him. I says, if you start asking a bunch of questions, I'm going to jump up and I'm going to fire you right on the spot in front of the judge. And I'm going to tell you to shut up. You do not, you ask the very minimum questions that you can ask, if any at all. You know what I mean? Because I need to find out what's happening. If I can find out who stole my stuff, I'm automatically guaranteed freedom. You know what I mean? I got to find something out before the prelim because I don't want to screw stuff up at the prelim. I need to know who stole my shit. So, first thing I start telling is everybody in my block. I'm like, oh, these motherfuckers just ripped me the fuck off, man. They just stole half my shit. They stole 3 ounces of cocaine and a gun off me. And what's funny is I did have a little bag of weed, like a eighth or a quarter or something. And they didn't, whoever stole my shit couldn't even have stole that. They left all that there just to make sure I still got the same charges. So everyone is obviously telling me, shut the fuck up, man. You're lucky. You're lucky. You got less fuck. I ain't lucky, motherfucker. I got the same goddamn charges, you fucking morons. That ain't fucking luck. So I started asking around. I'm asking all blocks, everybody, what's going on? I mean, I'm not asking what's going on. I'm asking who's crooked. Who's the crooked cops in this place? You know what I mean? And the sheriff, who, most little city jails are in the same place as the police department's offices. You share the same area, so they can watch you. And the sheriff was apparently, this was like, I don't know if you've seen the Dukes of Hazzard back in the day, but this was like Boss Hogg type territory. Everyone was crooked, man. The sheriff was stealing all the food, and this was so long ago, I can't remember what all was happening, but there was everyone was stealing everything. If it wasn't nailed down or they was whatever, if they can do a crooked deal or anything, these police would be the crookedest motherfuckers. But mainly I was hearing about the sheriff. It wasn't really about his force or the people under him. It was really the sheriff that was crooked as hell. But most likely they all were, and I just didn't hear about it. So now I know it's the sheriff. This highway patrol brought me in. Sheriff took all my shit, and now he thinks that it's a joke or whatever. So when the people, the jailer comes by, which is usually the police, I think at that time it was the police that jailed the jail. And they come by every 20 minutes or something, 15, 20 minutes just to walk through. And every time I seen them, and it'd take them a minute to walk through, I'd be there the whole time. I'd jump up on the bars like a monkey, my feet up there, my hands, and I'd be holding on to the bars. He's walking by. Oh, somebody stole my shit, man. Somebody stole my shit. And you know what? Somebody's going to get in trouble. Somebody's going to get, and I'd say, man, somebody's going to get in trouble. And I'd follow him down, and I'd be the most retardedest, I'd just to try to be funny as fuck, because I get hilarious when I'm locked up. You know what I mean? Because I know there's nothing. You're either gonna cry or you're gonna, laugh things off. So each time the guard comes by, which is say, one of the police officers, they got 20 feet of cell, they're small blocks, you know what I mean, cell blocks. So there's only about 20 feet, 25 feet for him to walk from one area to the next, in where the bars are where I can talk to him. But I'm climbing on the bars like a monkey. I'm, not just singing to them and chanting and, I'm climbing up on the bars up to the ceiling like a monkey doing this, I'm climbing on it, turning myself upside down. I'm following them down on the thing, The reason why I'm trying to be so comical, or, so crazy, is two reasons. One, it's funny as heck. And you have nothing to do, especially in these I usually always get stuck in a little tiny dink town. This town had like 3,000, 4,000 people or something, you know what I mean? Put it this way, when I was getting ready to leave, I'm telling them, I'm gonna get a cab to get out of here, you know what I mean? Everyone started laughing at me, like, you know what I mean? Because they didn't have any cabs or whatever. So I'm like, well, because they're like, how are you gonna get how are you gonna get out of here if you get out? No one believes me, but they're like, how are you gonna get out if you did? You're gonna have to walk. And I said, well, if they got cabs, I'll get a bus, man. And they all started laughing again, man. Like, what town doesn't have a bus? How do you not have a bus? But anyways, everything I'm mentioning, they're like, man, we don't have none of that. I says, well, I'll walk, man. I don't get, if I get out of here, I'll walk. So anyways, I think I know who it is, you know what I mean? And so each time that card comes, the reason why I'm being so comical is because I want the word to be spread on what I'm saying. I want everyone to hear it. And if I just say it as I walk by, they're just going to ignore me. But if I act like a monkey and turn myself upside down while I'm midair on these bars and follow them down the whole time while I'm on the bars and jump off and do a little jig and dance and, you know what I mean, while I'm singing to them, you're gonna get in trouble, you're gonna get in trouble, because you stole my shit, someone's getting in trouble, someone's getting in trouble. You're going to remember that, and you're going to tell people, because it's so crazy that, you know what I mean, you have to tell, you know what I mean, especially when you're in a business like in the police where you're just sitting around doing nothing, you know what I mean. You're going to have to talk about stuff, you know what I mean, and that's the greatest thing in the world to talk about, some nut job doing all that crap, you know what I mean, thinking, he got in, because they're laughing about it too, he got caught with fucking an ounce of coke and a gun and a little bit of weed, he thinks he's going to fucking get off scot-free, what an idiot. So they got to spread the word, right? And so you know what happens? They stop my mail. They stop my phone calls. Eventually, they stopped my attorney from actually coming in and talking to me. And it still didn't stop me from jumping up onto the bars. Each thing they took off of me, I'd just say, I'm going to go to, then my chant would just change. From each thing that they would do, my chant would change. Now, you take my mail, you take my phone and, attorney or whatever, now my chant is, I'm going to prison, yeah. But once I get there, guess what? You're not going to be able to stop me from having mail and having phone calls, and I'm calling up internal affairs or whatever you call it in the state, and I'm going to narc ends off, and we're all going to be in jail together. I don't mind. Do you? Do you mind? Because I don't mind. I'd do lifetime as long as you're sitting there next to me, buddy. So this went on for about a week where I'm chanting, after they took away my rights to have any contact with anybody. I guess they thought that they would scare me, and then I'd be like, oh, I'll shut up. No, I'm not going to shut. That's going to make me fucking scream even louder, motherfucker. You just made me scream louder. Now keep in mind, this is the worst state possible to get caught in. They're very hard on drugs, especially cocaine. For my plea right now is set at 40 years. Now keep in mind, 40 years you get parole in 13 years in this state. Lifetime you get paroled in 15. So I'm basically 40 years is life, you know what I mean? So this goes on for a week. Don't miss part 3, and always remember, science is great.